Welcome to the Alldus podcast, Women in ServiceNow series, a brand new series dedicated to showcasing the incredible women leading the way in the ServiceNow ecosystem. With your host, Ailsa Cassie, each episode will bring you inspiring conversations with trailblazing women who are driving innovation, breaking barriers, and shaping the future of ServiceNow. Whether you're an aspiring leader, a seasoned professional, or just curious about the impact of female leadership in the tech space, this podcast is your go-to source for inspiration and empowerment. Join us on this exciting new journey as we dive into the stories, challenges, and triumphs of the remarkable women making their mark within the ServiceNow ecosystem.
Hi, you're listening to the Alldus podcast, Women in ServiceNow series, and today I'm joined by Stephanie, who is a ServiceNow product owner and an out-and-out ITSM expert for many customers. So thank you so much for joining me today, Steph.
Thank you, Elsa. Thank you for the invitation.
Yeah, and you've worked within the ITSM space for quite a while now, so I'd love to hear about that journey and how you ended up in the role that you are in today.
So my journey is really a story of one conviction. Technology only works when people are ready for it. And that belief started at Atos almost 20 years ago, and it still drives every transformation I lead today. It began on the service desk working on user claim quality KPI. It was my first real exposure to IT operations. In 2012, things shifted when Atos created a service management center. I joined an IT organization as an incident manager and started a certification training, and eventually I reached the IT level expert. So this completely changed how I understood ITSM.
Yeah.
So around that time, ServiceNow was emerging as the new kid on the block. We were still using legacy tools, BMC, HP Service Manager, SDM. But when Atos was considering migrating to ServiceNow, I have moved to a transition manager role, and it was my first customer-facing position. My role was to deploy ITIL process, CMDB, problem, change, incident, and focusing on aligning processes, tools, and customers' expectations. So from the beginning, we push hard for standardization over customization. Yep. So that mindset have shaped my entire career and how I work with ServiceNow today.
Yeah, and I'm sure you've seen a lot of change in that 20 years. It's exciting to see that, and also always new challenges to face along the way. But you mentioned there standardization. So maybe tell me an example of a time where, over customization can really be a problem, because it's a problem that a lot of customers face.
Yes, absolutely. I've seen firsthand how damaging over customization can be. One of my customers was using EasyVista with a very high level of customization. Their customization had never been challenged. We had recurring performance issue, and upgrade and migration were complex and time-consuming. When migrating to ServiceNow, almost everything had to be redesigned from scratch because there were very few reusable standards. To move forward, we had to put strong governance structure in place to ensure adherence to standard practice and in parallel accompany users for adoptions. So what I've learned from this experience is that excessive customization reduces scalability and upgradability and leads to higher maintenance cost. And this could lead to a loss of long-term support.
Of course, and thinking about over customization, I think we'll maybe touch on it a bit later, but obviously the introduction of AI, it's really uncovered a lot of maybe unstable foundations for people when it comes to their ServiceNow platform. So really getting it right and having a standardized technology at the base of your enterprise is going to be something that's so important for all customers, and even more so now. Is there any other kind of challenges that really stand out to you that you faced during your career so far?
I would say that I have faced three main challenges in my career. The first is resistance to change. With my IT background and change management, I've learned that every transformation is never just about tools. It's more about people, especially in risk-averse environment. Sure. You need to listen, to build trust, and show quickly your value. The second is that balancing business expectation with the platform reality. Yeah. As product owner, supporting solutions used by thousands of users means constantly managing priorities, urgency, and technical constraint. It's about making smart trade-off and thinking long-term, not just reacting to immediate pressure.
Yeah.
And finally, over customization, of course. Even small requests can add complexity. One of my biggest learning was that sticking to standard platform capability and adapting process or ways of working often creates more value than building custom features.
Yep.
So I remember one of my customers, we will have long debates, talking about adding a new button, on an asset form. And we had to push hard and convince our customer to adapt the way they were working instead of modifying the form. So it's a real challenge to convince and to make sure that we stick to the standards. So in short, I've learned that long-term success comes from keeping things simple, staying aligned with business goal, and remain people-focused.
Definitely. And you really, when you focus on the fact that ServiceNow isn't just, of course, a technology, the role of a consultant is to navigate those really difficult stakeholders that think they know what might be best for them or what they need the product to look like for them at the end. But being able to come in and say, I know this platform inside and out, and this is actually probably the best solution for you. That educational piece plays such a huge role in the consultant role. And inevitably, you've always got the same outcome at the end, and it's wanting to provide the best possible and the most straightforward solution for a customer that inevitably is going to give them the best longevity out of their platform. I also hear, customizations that maybe have fixed a problem in the short term, then, when it comes to upgrades and future platform roadmaps, that's when you need to go back and then fix things as well. So what you're also giving people is longevity from their platform so that it's going to perform for as long as possible in the best way possible. Is there any other kind of areas of ServiceNow that you're most passionate about, or in the role that you play today? What is it that you really kind of gives you the most energy?
I really enjoy playing the negotiator role, whether that's for customer with Scrum Master or developers. I love acting as an advisor, helping teams meet customer expectation by balancing global standards like ITO, tool requirement, or common sense. So I thrive in an environment where structure is team built, because that is where you can create the most lasting impact. Building governance, structure, clarity from the ground up, and demonstrating real value in the process.
When you come to working in a new environment, you've probably seen a number of different enterprise customers and platforms of different scales, but do you have like a one kind of standard formula that you have when you're looking at a new platform to create the best success?
Yeah, as you understand, I'm really people focused and also culture focused.
Sure.
I always start by understanding the enterprise culture, because working in a luxury brand is completely different from working in utilities or healthcare services.
Yeah.
For example, in some environment, the mindset is never say no. You can say, okay, we'll find another way. While in other, you have to have a clear and direct communication to be understood. So I quickly identified key peers, people who truly understand how the organization works day to day. I also connect with subject matter experts who brings deep knowledge of both the business and the internal culture. And my focus always follow the same order: the business, then the people, and finally the tool. This alignment phase can take some time. Sometimes it clicks within a month, depending on the customer context. But in other case, I had to fight for several months. But this is a critical investment for long-term success. So you have to do it.
Definitely. And it sounds like you're, of course, very, very adaptable and agile in the way that you're able to do that as well. And is there any kind of key success indicators that show you that you're on the right track for success?
First, I have to set clear expectations with the company that brings me in. This is essential. Sometimes everything is already documented. We have a clear statement of work, clear objective and deliverables. But in other contexts, we start from a business need or recurring issue. And in those cases, we have to work together to assess the context, build a statement of work collaboratively, and define smart objectives to ensure success. At the end of the day, success is not about delivering on time. It's about leaving an organization more mature, more autonomous, and more confident than when I arrived.
thinking of the bigger picture then, kind of looking at your career overall, you've been a very successful woman working in the market and, of course, within the ServiceNow environment. And is there any particular advice that you would maybe give to other women that are curious about a ServiceNow career or people that are in the ServiceNow ecosystem and trying to navigate their next step?
First, I will say that we need more female perspective in this space. I work in an environment that were about 95% male, and it's not really easy as a woman because it pushes you to grow, to face self-doubt, and to build confidence, especially when you're taking a risk like becoming freelancer. So my key advice for women will be don't put barrier on yourself. You need to know everything on day one, and learning is part of the journey. And ServiceNow make learning accessible. You can go through the ServiceNow University. There are many free courses, so you can truly start from zero if you are motivated. Work hard and get certified because certification can open doors and also and help you to build credibility and confidence. You can celebrate every milestone, every step forward matters, even the small one. And finally, focus on relationship because there are a lot of face-to-face time you have to develop with our community, our peers. It helps you to build trust and to get more experience, from your peer. And it makes a real difference on the ecosystem.
Definitely. And I think I had a really great conversation with someone yesterday about using the community to learn things that you aren't an expert in yourself, and like maybe taking a project example that someone shared and really working on it in your own time so that you can think of a solution and come to that as almost like a training activity in your own time. So leaning on the community is such an amazing thing that people have access to, as well as, of course, the ServiceNow University. I always like seeing, if someone's done a new certification and they post it on LinkedIn, they'll have floods of messages of people congratulating them, and it can be anything from a CSA to a CTA certification, and everyone's still happy to see it. It's a really warm and welcoming community. And looking at the future, is there any space within the ITSM market that you could foresee evolving and changing?
The ITSM space is quite evolving, is transforming today. ITSM has always been the entry point into the ServiceNow ecosystem, and it remains the foundation for platform adoption. So a strong data foundation is essential to evolve beyond ITSM and successfully adopt other products, HRSD, CSM, FSM, whatever. So ITSM challenges and transformation effort cannot be ignored, especially in a challenging or low maturity environment where CMDB and service modeling initiatives remain critical. So ServiceNow has introduced the Data Foundation and the CSDM certification. And this one is a turning point because it has been repositioned as a mandatory milestone before progressing to other certification paths, directly addressing long-standing data and structure issue. And I think this is a really important shift on the way you address and you see the perspective of evolution of the platform. So for me, ITSM is not disappearing, it's in a transformation journey. Focus on consolidated foundation and strengthening process adoption to enable broader feature like AI or beyond ITSM features.
And is there any particular contribution of IT service management to AI topics that you expect to see?
Yeah, because today many organizations are interested about integrating AI, but they're not fully ready or confident to move forward because there are still basic challenges to address. Data quality, process maturity, service modeling, CMDB data, and all of this has to be fixed before automation can truly deliver value. So I will advise to approach AI as a journey and go step by step. You can start with Experience AI through Now Assist and Virtual Agent to work on conversational experiences and ticket writing features. And as foundation and maturity increase, move to Process AI, predictive intelligence, decision builders, ticket classification, routing, or prioritizations. And the ultimate goal is to work on operation AI ops, event intelligence, noise reduction, root cause analysis, and outage prevention. So I will summarize this and say that AI is the accelerator and foundation are the engine.
Yeah, and no, I'm very, very excited to see that kind of transformation as the years go on as well, because there's been a lot of talk of the introduction of AI within ServiceNow for the last couple of years, really. But now we're at the point where we can really see some proper case studies and really see what value it's adding across the platform and not just within ITSM. So the rest of 2026, what can we expect to see from you?
I have a very busy agenda for this year. So my goal is simple. First, data foundation for certification. This is a key milestone in my journey. I also want to deepen my expertise around AI in our assist to stay aligned with where the platform is going. And in parallel, I'm continuing to invest in ITOM and later on CSM and HRSD as natural extension of a strong ITSM foundation. So I want to be ready to support customer on complex transformation topics with solid foundation. So what drives me every day is simple. I want to be the consultant to leave things better than she found them. So that's my standard.
Lovely. No, it's a great way to end the episode as well. I'm excited to see how the year goes on for you. So thank you so much for joining me today, Steph. It's been lovely to speak with you and hear your insight as an ITSM expert.
My pleasure. Thank you, Elsa.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Alldus podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. We are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and any Android podcast of choice. You can also head over to our website, www.alldus.com, to listen to more podcasts, view our open roles, and stay up to date with industry news. Thanks for listening and stay tuned for more great episodes coming very soon.